Tune in here. Looks like we are live on YouTube, Facebook. So if you guys could give me a heads up that you can hear me and see me all right. Welcome everyone on TikTok. Good to see you guys. If you could give me a thumbs up, let me know that you can hear me and see me all right. That would be super helpful. Couple quick announcements while we let people tune in. We do have Christina Del Rey's tarot and astrology classes up on the Ivy League website for sale through video download. You go to ivyleaguepsychicacademy.com. Also, if you guys were interested in registering for the Psychic Mediumship course, and I am running a sale that expires tomorrow on Halloween. Right now, I'm running a sale 20% off all classes. All party bookings, all readings. This is a huge deal. And again, it expires tomorrow. No, I will not. If you contact me the next day, I missed it. I'm aware of that. That's why it's called a sale and an expiration date. All right. So that's it. So you guys want to purchase classes, especially something like Christina's course or my Psychic Mediumship course. It is definitely a huge deal. 20% off until tomorrow. Now, we do have the Psychic Mediumship course. If you want additional information, you want to get on the early bird wait list, or you want to go ahead and register. We start, let's see, January. Thank you, Maraid. January 23rd, it starts. We're also evergreen now, so you could jump into the current fall class if you want to do that. Let's see. We also have, I start touring in November. I will be in Florida. Then I'll be in Georgia. Then I'm going to come back to the home base. Then we're going to do New Orleans and Texas. So if you guys want to book a gig in Georgia or Florida while I'm there, you're going to want to go ahead and contact me now. So you can go onto the website and text the phone number, or you can email at revivrivera@yahoo.com. Also, I just had a group leave here. They did the haunted overnight experience. So this is my 1882 Victorian Funeral Home. Super haunted, as you can imagine, the new headquarters for the Ivy League Psychic Academy here in Dunkirk, New York. We are about 2 blocks from the beach. And I'm doing these haunted overnight experiences for you and up to 25 of your friends. So last night's group just left a bit ago, and everyone's having a blast with it. So if you want to sleep here and find out what this place is all about, check it out. We also have the ghost hunts and the historical tours up on the website for December. I believe it's December 16th. All right, so check that out. And the last announcement I want to make, we are looking for students for a TV show. I'm working with a producer from LA and some local camera people and crews on filming something, a little project that may end up not being quite so little. So we see the potential for many spin-offs coming from this series. And there's a lot of interest. So what I'm going to do is take 5 people to be my students in a retreat boot camp style psychic mediumship course training, probably around the 2nd week of December. I have to get a couple dates lined up. And if you're interested in being interviewed, we can film you, send it off to the producers in LA, see if they accept you in for the program, and we'll be good to go. Don't know where it may lead for you, but I'm definitely looking for some very serious, dedicated people. It'll be 4 days of filming, and you'll be staying here in Dunkirk, New York at, again, the 1882 Victorian Funeral Home for that. All right. Very interesting stuff. So reach out if you're interested here in the comment section, or again, you can email revivrivera@yahoo.com. All right. Good stuff. We are right on time for Halloween, let me tell you. So I have with me my favorite lady here, Christina Del Rey, astrologer and tarot reader, as well as our Reverend at Roots Revival Interfaith. How are you, Christina?
Awesome. Glad to be here.
Me too. And we have our beautiful producer, Maraid, taking your questions tonight. we decided to do a pop-up show since so many of you are dealing with some of the same stuff I know I'm dealing with, and I know Christina is dealing with. So tonight's pop-up class is called Temper Tantrums, Gossipers, Pot Stirs, and how to handle all of this through the Mars retrograde and eclipse season. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the things that have happened to me in the last, I want to say 2 weeks, but progressively it's getting stronger, it's getting worse, it's becoming more frequent. And then I would love to hear Christina's input on what this is associated with and what we can do about it and expect in the future. Okay, so in the last 2 weeks, I have most certainly bumped into an unusual amount of creepers, stalkers, crazies, gossipers, crybabies, and people throwing temper tantrums. So this has been strange. Normally, I feel pretty comfortable going out in my town and even in like neighboring towns. I pretty much know the drill. I've been here about a year. I'm still a little bit new, but I can tell in any environment I'm in if I'm in a safe place or if something weird is about to happen. And I can tell you that outside of grocery stores, I have been snuck up on, gas stations. People are feeling very liberated to approach and be insulting, like verbal sexual assault and just weird remarks. I don't even know how to respond, quite honestly. And I don't, because you don't want to feed something like that. And you certainly don't want to like smile and be polite and, kind of encourage it. So that was my first sign that something strange was going on. I had someone also come for a reading this week who lied about her name, concealed who she was to see if I would like figure it out. The whole situation was very creepy, really, really bizarre. And the fact that she announced it at the end sort of shamelessly, like, ta-da, and expected me to be like, oh my God, that's awesome. I was like, what are you, nuts? Like, what the hell is it? People just have like it's gone. Like the sense of social decency, right? And boundaries. They have no sense of self-awareness right now. So stalkers, even from 10 years back in my life that I thought were long gone have somehow in the last 2 weeks, but mostly in the last week, resurrected. Now, not only are the stalkers returning, they are like bringing others with them. And the others feel comfortable making reference to the stalkers. And like there's nothing wrong with any of this. Or like maybe that person is sort of an off person a little bit. Maybe they don't have the best judge of character. When in actuality, they belong like behind bars. This is criminal activity. Again, no sense of boundaries, no sense of social decency, things that people should be ashamed of or never associate themselves with. They're pretty open about it. I've also seen some very odd, I want to say just crazy behavior in the way that people are seeming really out of sorts, out of control, taking things extremely personally, even in professional atmospheres where it's not personal whatsoever. They've been paranoid, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just curious, but, really suspicious, accusatory. I've also seen that it's not only increasing, it's more, so they're not only acting like this way to a greater extreme than I'm used to seeing. There are more of them just on a daily basis. And I see a lot. I assure you, I work with all of it under the sun. This is extraordinary. The gossiping is out of control. I have had people who have come to me to try to gossip about exes or people I knew from my past, or it's almost like people are so starving for material, they'll bring up even stuff that's offensive to me that I don't want to talk about. Not only am I not interested in sitting around and gossiping with you, I definitely don't want to talk about that or those people or toxic situations I have chosen to divide myself away from, to evolve beyond and to level up from long, long ago. But it's like people are so starving for some kind of maybe connection, that they're willing to even drudge up the past to get a conversation going that feels meaningful to them. And I think that's sad. I think that if you're finding that right now you're being pulled into gossip, which I know is a Mars in retrograde problem, I think you need to assess what you value in your relationships and what your ethical code of conduct is, where your morality is, where's your moral compass pointed. But also, why do you feel that that's a level of intimacy with others? When there are so many other things to talk about, find something or keep your mouth shut. But it's been super awkward, really weird. I've had people trying to tell me about other people and putting me in awkward situations just because then I'm present. Now I'm present for something I wish I was never present for, So when they talk to somebody else about it, they're going to say, Ivy was there. Ivy and I were talking. No. Ivy and I were not talking. No. You were talking at me about somebody else. I said nothing, but that's not how things get recorded. There's been a ton of that going on. The crybabies. This has been super strange. I'm on a first date with someone the other day, and he literally just breaks down in tears over talking about his future, I don't know, plans, how disappointed he is, in his life right now on a first date. I've had some red flags come up the past couple weeks telling me not to engage with certain people, and because I was feeling tired, which I know is also a side effect of the Mars retrograde, I said, well, maybe I'm just being emotional or judgmental or critical, because I'm tired. And I allowed that to override my intuition, which was a huge mistake. So I ended up with several people crying on my time clock over weird scenarios, and it made my life very uncomfortable. People being downers. I'm shocked at the way people are unloading onto me. And I think we all need to be really aware that as intuitives, okay, as empaths especially, people feel like it's okay to just unload all their garbage onto you. Oh, I have this ailment. Oh, my life is going downhill. Oh, the recession. Oh, I don't feel like doing this or that or the other. I'm like, I'm a person too. Okay. And I'm having to remind people of that on a daily basis. People I'm close to, people I'm just acquaintances with, all kinds of people. I had a client lash out at me the other day. This hasn't happened, I want to say, in years, because she was angry at her deceased mother. So she attacked me because she wanted her mother to tell her why she passed when she did. I said, this is out of control. I had to take a moment because that stuff makes me angry too. I don't like when people come at me like that when I'm just there to be of service to them. I don't make enough money, I assure you. Okay, there should be an extra fee. So I took a deep breath and I pulled back. And I would say that was probably the second day of all of this, when I noticed how bad it was getting after the creeper outside the grocery store literally hid behind the building to sneak up on me. So I pulled back. I took some deep breaths. I detached and I let her know, this is between you and you. This isn't even between you and your mom anymore. This is between you and you. And I let it, like water off a duck's back, just sort of roll. I'm not going to engage, but it is getting a little bit tougher and definitely weirder. Okay. I've had people in the last couple weeks that I've known for 6 years or longer lash out after something that they, said to me that they felt was like revealing, or they were trying to get some message across to me finally. And they didn't like my response to it, because again, I'm not going to engage in nonsense. I've had them lash out at me. And so I'm cutting left and right. I'm cutting cords. I'm burning bridges. I don't care. And the way I've been looking at it is that if you're going to act so inappropriately, you're making it very easy for me to make that decision. I have found that most of these people were on the chop block anyways. It was just really a matter of time. So I'm comfortable with it, but I'm shocked at how they're all doing it in a similar fashion and collectively. It's very, very interesting. I would also say that in addition to all of this weirdness with the humans, I've been having a lot of dreams about people. This has been every single night for the last, I want to say, week and a half. Anyone else getting this? You can please post and share your experiences. We're going to be taking your questions and comments here in a little bit. Post any questions you have for Christina or I. These dreams are focused on people that I have unresolved karma with. Unresolved karma in the sense that they owe me back for something they did in the past. And in the dream, it's almost like they're trying to force the payment. They're trying to give me something. They're trying to latch on. And I keep saying, like, no thanks, I'll pass. I'll find another way to get what I need. That ship has sailed. I'm over it. I'm good. You go be good. God bless. Okay. And so it's like every night, more and more and more of the same. Very peculiar, I have to say. I've also noticed, this has been intriguing as well. It's like I have a horseshoe up my rear end. I've noticed on the polar opposite spectrum of things, I have come into some tremendous good luck. So, Christina, I don't know if there's some kind of karmic payout going on with the eclipses in Mars, but I'm very curious about this because I've had breakthroughs with people in high up places. I've had people in higher up places reach out and say, we want to bring you up here. I've had all kinds of huge opportunities, simplicity in situations that I've spent the last year trying to work out. All of a sudden, things are moving, things are flowing, things are going, networking, gigs, contracts, general good fortune in all areas. And at the same time, even though it's not always comfortable, I've considered it really good fortune to know that there were situations I wanted to release or needed to, or people I needed to release, and the universe just took care of it for me. Okay. So I didn't ever have to say a thing. It just sit tight, let it roll, let it go. So I find all of this pretty phenomenal. And I would love to hear your feedback. So we're going to turn this over to Christina Del Rey, our astrologer here. And again, if you guys have questions, if you have comments, I want you to start posting them now. Donations are appreciated. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. We're going to be taking your questions and comments here when Christina's done.
Okay, so I guess quite a few things have been going on astrologically. It's just been a very busy astrological month. But the highlights, I think, pretty much are that we are in eclipse season, and we do have this Mars retrograde going on. So the eclipse that we just had October 22nd, that was both a purge and a new beginning. So, it was in Scorpio, but it was a solar eclipse. So it was like something has to end so something else can begin. The energy got really crazy there for a while. It was actually a well-aspected eclipse, but it was still Scorpio, which is what? Birth and, death, right? So it's like something has to be killed and then something has to be born. So there's a big purge there. And then, you also too, Scorpio is like, that's like the lower side of, humans, human behavior, the gossip, maybe not the gossiping so much, but the nitty gritty, the ugly comes out, the solar eclipse, anytime there's an eclipse, it's unpredictable. So people feel the energy and then, they just react without thinking. And, it wasn't Scorpio. So yes, people were showing their ugly for sure. We are actually approaching the second eclipse. This eclipse come in pairs. So we're actually approaching another one too that everybody really needs to be aware about. And it is in Taurus. It's at 15 degrees Taurus, right on my daughter's sun. So we shall see. But it's also conjunct Uranus. So this is going to be, most eclipses are unpredictable, but I guess this one would be extra unpredictable. The only thing I can say about it is that there's some kind of liberation, perhaps release, a surprise, freedom, something probably like with this one, secrets coming out, perhaps that are shocking, maybe in the news, things like that. Because it's a lunar eclipse, it is in Taurus, which, has to do more with like tangible things, the earth. It has to do with the five senses, but it's conjunct Uranus. So that makes it like a wild card. So we just don't know what is going to happen with that. So I would say to people for the eclipse, and it is November 8th on election day. So, there'll probably be a surprise upset somewhere from the election. But, I would say to people, don't do anything reckless. Don't do anything spur the moment. Like it's an energy where it's a high point. It's a culmination. You could feel like, I'm just going to jump off this bridge because it seems like a great idea right at this moment. And that is just, not it. So we really have to think, it's not saying don't take chances. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't be impulsive and make impulsive decisions. Very important with Uranus because things can change and it can go either direction. It can go good or bad, but you have to really be careful. You don't want to be impulsive, but yeah. And then, it's loosely squaring Saturn. So we're talking about surprises, breaking free, breaking out, liberating, surprise secrets coming out. And just know that it's unpredictable energy. Expect the unexpected for this one. And then, hopefully, it'll all be good. And, Uranus can be very exciting. And an eclipse already is very, it's life-changing depending on where it is in your chart. But this one in particular would be more like, sudden surprises or sudden liberations and freedoms. And then the second thing, or the third thing, I should say, that you're talking about definitely would be this Mars retrograde cycle. And Mars goes retrograde today. And it goes until January 12th, 2023. So that's, I think it had like a total of 8 months or something like that in Gemini alone. So that's a really long time to be in Gemini. So Gemini is communication. It has to do with, communicating with others. It has to do with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. You're talking about neighbors. So, and like, just because Mars goes retrograde today doesn't mean that we haven't felt anything. So Mars going through Gemini, anywhere Mars goes, Mars is action, movement, war. Okay. So you think about it, Mars going through Gemini, we're going to put action, we're going to put possibly war into our communication. Okay. So things get more tense, and Mars tends to be impulsive behavior too, like spur the moment. So then we have people coming up to you and just, and Mars isn't really known for being polite. That would be Venus. So, it's just kind of in your face, rude, not really sophisticated kind of, communication, but aggressive nonetheless, very aggressive. So the big thing here to remember is that Mars squares Neptune 3 times. Okay. So this is what's making it worse rather than better. But yeah, we need these lessons. So Mars squared Neptune on October 11th. So you've been feeling that ever since October 11th, which kind of makes sense with what you're saying. So now we talk about Neptune. What is Neptune? Neptune is fantasy, illusion. It can be lies. Boundaries cease to exist, right? Because Neptune dissolves the boundaries. So people are coming up and being inappropriate. And they are, what did you say? I think you said like talking to you, like something that like they should not be because the boundaries just gone. And it's a action of tension when we have a square. So it's like people feel compelled to do it, and like they have to, and it's urgent. So it's like right in your face, and the high vibration, because Neptune's not all bad, but the high vibration of Neptune would be spirituality, it would be creativity. So if these people were taking their energies, channeling it into creativity or spirituality, now that would make for a good Mars square Neptune. It all depends where you put your energy. That's really what it comes down to, because if you're putting your energy in something that can go bad, or you're low vibing, then that's when things are going to get crazy. I was actually born with Mars square Neptune, so I'm very used to this energy. I live with this energy. However, it has been one of my most challenging things in my chart, because Neptune dissolves action. So it makes you lazy. It makes you not want to move. It kind of paralyzes you in the lower vibration. In the higher vibration, we have like spiritual warrior. Okay. So, but that square, it puts that tension there. So it's like, yeah, you should do it, but you're still sitting there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like one of those things. So what whenever Mars goes retrograde, what you should be doing is, now any actions that you take are not going to really pan out, which is very frustrating. Especially we all have this in one area of our chart. So we'll feel it in at least one area of our chart. So if you're trying to take action on something, it's just not going anywhere. So that is a sign to go inward, because we're frustrated, so we can go inside, and then we can see where our power lies on the inside, whether that be building boundaries with others, realizing that you have no control. When you're at work, like for instance, if you coach a team and they lose, okay, and this is a real situation that's happened recently. So the coach has taken it very hard because he worked so hard with these kids, and now they're not going to go to the playoffs and all this stuff. And, he's taking it personally, but what he needs to do is to go inside and realize, if the kids didn't have work ethic, you can't control that. You know what I mean? You can only go, if they've grown up without work ethic, you can't control that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't control what others do. He can't control how seriously somebody takes the game, or how much, you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much you can control. And you have to realize, with Mars retrograde, you probably thought you were in way more control than you actually are. So you have to sort of suck it up, and you have to decide, where is your powerless? Like, where are you powerless? And then where can you be more strategic with your power? So it's going inside, maybe being a little more manipulative, I guess it would say, with your, not in a bad way, but like, trying to see, don't waste that energy, because it's not going anywhere. So, you can try all you want, it's not going to go anywhere. So go within and say, okay, what can I do? Where's my power lie? Where can I focus on? Because anytime that Mars and Neptune are square, they're going to take like 10 times more. It's like more fire to get moving. Like, it's like, it's 10 times harder to make that move than it would be normally. And we're going to be here until January 12th, 2023. So that's a long time. November 19th is the next Neptune square Mars, and then March 14th, 2023. So we are possibly wherever Mars is squaring Neptune, that means confusion as well.
Wait, are we talking 2024? Because we're in 2022. What year is it?
So March next year is when Mars will square Neptune again.
Okay.
And then be done. So March is a big month for astrology next year, huge. But anyway, so because Mars will go direct, but it'll still be in Gemini. It's got to finish out. It's got to go back over the stuff it retrograded. That's why it's there so long. So anyway, so anytime you have Mars square Neptune, you have confusion. And where there's confusion, there are lies, fantasy, illusions, and escapist behaviors. We have gossiping. We have people just acting a fool because, you know, they just dissolve the boundaries. They don't really care at that point because the boundaries are dissolved. So, you know, it's really, Mars is very, it's action oriented, but it's very me. So it's like me, all the attention on me. I don't care about you. You know what I mean? But also too, you could be dealing with somebody who's lying to you and not even realize it for a while till March of 2023. So, you know, that's a concern. So you got to really be aware. You got to really be aware that there can be definitely some deception going on. It's possible. You're going to have to expect delays. Don't fight it. Just go within. The less action you take, probably better, because, you know, once you start seeing that's not going anywhere, you're like, okay, I'm going to be blocked. So, you know, I have to focus internal. It's more about strategy and being strategic and personal power. So frustration and exhaustion, expect that. This one, because it's in Gemini, it can feel like one big Mercury retrograde. I'm already feeling that. So even though Mercury is not retrograde at the moment, it's going to feel like it because it's in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So yeah, so that's not great for, like, you know, computers and things like that, but it is what it is. And then, yeah, and, you know, lies, deceit possible. So actions, you know, once you start seeing that you're being blocked, any other action is going to be kind of futile. So I wouldn't waste myself. I would just go within and try to figure out what your personal power is. Remember, there's a lesson somewhere in it. So you have to, I mean, your job is to find the lesson, to find what the problem is teaching you. Because it's in Gemini, guess who has the hardest time with it?
Yay.
Nice. So, and he doesn't move out of Gemini until March. So you're stuck with him till March. Yay.
Sun, moon, rising, and what, four other spots in my chart. So yeah, it does feel like a retrograde, like Mercury in retrograde. That's funny you said that. I haven't heard any other astrologer say that, but this week alone, I had to re-record my masterclass twice.
Oh yeah.
My cats knocked my roses over onto my mics, my computer. I've had texts that I'm sending that aren't going through, voice clips that aren't able to be heard, like one thing after another. I'm like, this literally feels like a Mercury in retrograde. It's almost identical to me.
I mean, once Mars goes direct on January 12th, I'm expecting it to be slightly better, but you know, I mean, we're still technically, like, Mars has to cover all that ground that he retrograded. So we're still going to feel it, you know, it's still going to be there. And then it has to hit Neptune again too. So that should be interesting. But anyway, the last time it hits Neptune, you'll be aware of whatever deception or confusion was there. Like, you'll kind of be aware of that. Is it all right if I touch on each sign?
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So
And if someone tuning in, oh, here come the hearts on TikTok. Everyone loves that. Okay. Yay. I know. I'm excited too. This is the only way I can like rope her in for long periods of time, right? For like stuff like this. I have a million questions for her every day. But also if somebody could sort of timestamp, that would be awesome if you hear your sign coming up. Okay. All right, let's hear it.
Okay, so for the I'll touch on the eclipse and then the Mars retrograde really quick for each sign. So Aries, your lunar eclipse, so that's like a high point, but like we said, a freedom or like a liberation in the area of how you feel about yourself, your self-worth, your money that you earn, and your possessions. So in your value system as well. And Mars is retrograding in your third house, which has to do with siblings, cousins, neighbors. It can be like even just taking trips, like actions toward that can be like, unseen delays of some kind. So it's going to be a lot of you trying to you being confused because you're not in control. Spirit is actually in control because Neptune's in your 12th, but you having to have faith and being confused possibly with communication or travel, or delayed with that. For Taurus, this is a big one for Taurus because the lunar eclipse is actually in their sign, so they're getting a culmination on basically their identity. So something is going to either come to fruition or something can end or something can be like a high emotional point. And it has to do with identity, possibly the body as well. And for them, Mars retrograde is happening in the second house. And that has to do with your, you have to really go within. And, if you're trying to get a raise, probably not the best time because you're going to have to strategically plan out how to get that raise. But this really has to do with the money that you earn. So maybe you are reevaluating your actions, with how you make money. And maybe you are trying to readjust things, see where you can put your energy into. But that would be where those that Mars is retrograding for you. Gemini. So Gemini, the lunar eclipse is in the 12th house. So that is the dream space. Forgot to touch on that. But, you probably will have some interesting messages from spirit, karma that could be possibly transmuted. It could be, maybe something if you have any loved ones in the hospital, it might just be a time of like a culminating time. It could be, it could be your connection with spirit. Just, you have to really be aware, as long as you are aware of spirit and the signs, you'll understand when you feel it. And Mars is retrograding in your first house. So again, has to do with identity, the way that people see you, the body. Okay. So maybe like exercise might be extra tough. If you're a gym person, it might take an extra fuel to start working out or something. But Neptune is in that, it's in your career area. So confusion in the career area, confusion in the way people see you, perhaps like, like as your reputation might be like confused. So like look at your strategy more for work and career. Actions will get easier eventually. Okay. And then Cancer. So we have the lunar eclipse happening in your 11th house. And that's like friends, groups, and hopes, wishes, and dreams. So, that's going to be a high point of culmination there. Could be people, there could be some kind of like surprise where you see somebody's true colors, or a friend group or something, you see some kind of true colors that you weren't expecting. Or, the eclipse can go either way. It can be good, it can be bad, but there's probably going to be some kind of upset in some kind of group that you belong to, or your friends and acquaintances, something happening there. And, you know, something coming to a head with that. And even possibly, you know, like if it's a culmination for some people, it might even be like, you know, a hope, wish, or a dream achieved as well, because you never know with an eclipse. What did I say? Oh yeah, so Mars is retrograde in your 12th. So this is the dream space. So Cancer, that would be you, dream space. Behind the scenes work is going to become more difficult. It is, Ivy does not want to hear this. It is squaring Neptune in the broadcasting area. Confusion with broadcasting, teaching. Yeah, this is not what she wanted to hear. Let's see. Could be like too. I was thinking like maybe a confusing diagnosis or something too. I don't know. That's kind of what I was getting on that one too. You know, you might have.
I'm a Cancer sun. I'm a Cancer Gemini cusp, and this is literally everything I said in the beginning.
It is. It is. And I didn't hear Ivy beforehand. She didn't tell me anything. I have it all written. So yeah, things are gonna be a little confusing there for a little while. Leo. So us Leos, we have the lunar eclipse in our 10th house. So some kind of culmination at work, maybe something surprising, maybe something liberating, maybe something about your reputation that is unusual. Maybe you're coming out with some kind of secret or something. Like secrets come out too. That's also possible for Cancer too, but sometimes secrets come out with an eclipse and things become more public. So could have something to do with your reputation. Maybe, you know, maybe you're a little out there. Maybe you're flying your freak flag. Maybe I am. Anyway, so Mars is going to go retrograde in the 11th house. So again, we're talking 11th house. It's friends. It has to do with, so this is like our lesson for Leos is like, we're kind of reevaluating our friendship groups right now. The groups that we belong to, kind of seeing maybe the not so good in some of the people and groups because it's square Neptune in the 8th of secrets. So there could be some secrets there that we're unaware of. And that's never fun. The last Mars retrograde square Neptune did not work out well for me with secrets. I found some secrets were hiding in my own house. So yeah, you don't know until you know. So if you have any inkling, trying to trust that gut feeling, but expect some confusion. This is definitely, I should say for Leo, do not give friends money that you expect to get back. If you are giving a donation to somebody, if you're giving somebody money and you don't expect it back, fine. Then you're giving it with love, it's gone. But friends and money don't mix under this. That's huge right now. Like don't go investing in stuff with a friend or anything like that. Not during Mars retrograde. Okay, reviewing acquaintances, hopes, wishes, and dreams. So maybe you're reviewing your hopes, wishes, and dreams too. Maybe how you take action on that. Frustrations, you know, maybe like you want to go out and then like plans get canceled. You know, these are all things that can happen. Virgo, we have the lunar eclipse happening in their 9th house. So this is like, you know, this could be law. A legal matter could come to a close. It could have a surprising, you know, change of events. It could just come to a culmination. It could liberate you. It could be higher education, something going on with your, like in a higher education setting. It also has to do with philosophies and religion too. So, you know, maybe some high point there. Okay, so Mars is retrograding in the 10th, and that is career. So maybe you are rethinking career moves, reputation. It is square Neptune in the 7th, though. So for Virgos, it's a confusing time in love, probably love partnerships, and what actions you're taking in those love partnerships, but also contracts. You know, I'm going to say, like, you know, have them checked by somebody else. I would say don't sign any contracts, but, you know, you got to live your life. But Mars square Neptune, and that it heightens November 19th and then March 14th. Probably not the best thing to do to sign a contract, especially with a friend or anything like that. So, all right. And then we have Libra, the lunar eclipse for them. It's going to be in the 8th house. So this has to do with money, shared money, like stocks, husband, wife's money, partner's money, any money that you don't get from your regular paycheck that you either invest. This could be like government money too, maybe child support. But there is, there is that culminating action there that could be surprising. I would say don't do anything crazy with the stock market. This whole thing, I would really watch the stock market with this lunar eclipse that's happening. I don't know. Mars is retrograde. Oh, actually the lunar eclipse too could be surprising intimacy things going on too. Maybe somebody reveals that they, more in love with you or something like that, or you have a surprise meeting with somebody who you feel like can be intimate, an intimate partner. But Mars is retrograde in the 9th, squaring in the 6th. So, we have actions in education or legal matters, travel, immigration, having to be reviewed, using your inner strength to conquer all of that. Scorpio. Mars does co-rule Scorpio, so it is particularly important for them. Mars is retrograde in the 8th, so we're talking about, this is where I think like it's going to be more like deep deep emotional intimacy issues, that'll come up that they have to be more strategic on. Also money matters, and relationship intimacy is going to be big with Scorpio. Maybe money and creative projects, maybe children, stuff with kids might be confusing. Also shadow work, working through trauma, and deciding what you're going to do with your psyche. Things might be confusing. I would say don't take risks with gambling, Scorpios, during this time. And that lunar eclipse for Scorpios is in the 7th, which is relationships and contracts. So this might be really, surprising turn of events with a romantic partner or with a business partner. Sagittarius, the lunar eclipse takes place in the 6th house. So that's going to be, your work and your habits and your health habits. So, the lunar eclipse is there, something might come to your attention. Okay, I got to pay attention to my health now. I got to rein it in. Or, something at work might be surprising. There's something there with that 6th house. That's probably will be a high point. And Mars is retrograde in the 7th, squaring the 4th. So, I would be careful with like family members, signing contracts with family members. Just be careful of that. Buying and selling houses, if you are doing that as a Sagittarius, that might be delayed. And it might have some surprises with it. So just kind of expect all that. Capricorn, lunar eclipse in the 5th house of romantic relationships. So, maybe a surprise, a culmination happening there. Maybe being freed from something there could be. Mars is retrograde in their 6th house. So again, we're talking, they might have to look at their health and how they're acting in their health. Could be too that they might have a confusing diagnosis or something like that, that'll clear up once Mars goes, direct. But just, be aware of that. It's square Neptune in the 3rd. So communication is not on point. Okay. And then could be in frustration with movement too. Okay. Aquarius. So Aquarius, this lunar eclipse is taking place in the home area. So it might be surprise. It could be something like, oh, I was trying to buy a house. I didn't expect to get it and I got it. It could be, oh, we just got an eviction notice. We're moving. You know what I mean? Like it could be it can go either way. But something, in the house could just be something with family, but, probably like a little bit of a surprise, maybe a liberation of some kind. Mars is going retrograde in your romantic sector, square Neptune in your self-worth area and your the way you make money as well. So creative projects, children, romance, those are all things you're going to have to strategically think about going within, because the movement you're trying to make outwardly is probably not going to work out. But at the same time, when you're going within, you're going to feel better about yourself. That there's a lesson there with those two things. So yeah, your self-worth needs to be looked at and how you value yourself. And lastly, Pisces, they have their lunar eclipse in the 3rd house. So they might hear some news that is surprising for them. It's Uranus. So just be careful in a car. Just, not like you're not all going to get in car accidents. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is just be on alert, just be extra cautious, be extra aware of your surroundings. I have a Pisces moon, so I know how we can get in la la land a lot of times, but nope, not that day. Or not around the eclipse. You're going to be very, present. And Neptune, Mars retrograde is in their 4th house of home. So they might be strategically thinking about, doing some work in the home. Things might be delayed there. Neptune's in the 1st. So, they might just, they might try to do something. It could even have to do with like exercise and stuff. And it just seems like delay. But there's a lesson there. So, and don't be idealistic about maybe a domestic situation, overly idealistic, because there might be someone in the home maybe that's trying to confuse you about a home matter, or it's leaving you. They're acting a certain way and it's leaving you a little confused about yourself. So there's something there. But that's pretty much it for all the signs. Any questions?
Love it. Thank you. I'm sure there will be a bunch of questions and comments. Again, thank you for the donations, people. And go ahead and leave your questions and comments now. We're about to pop them up. So yeah, if you have questions for Christina, Christina, I just think it's so interesting too that, we're talking about having to go inward. No matter what we do out here, a lot of times it isn't going to go anywhere. And that's a sign that it's time to go inward and look at your other resources and things. And I think this is becoming such a theme too, that's in addition, right, aggravated by the recession, because people are trying. And it's like, you can't work yourself to death. I mean, literally, you can only do so much. And so people are learning, okay, I'm going to have to just accept where I am. This is not part of my identity. This is something everybody has to deal with in life. And I'm going to go in. And when you go in, you do start to pluck out all kinds of different resources and skills and things you forgot you were capable
personal power, like everybody has it, but we need to work on it. Yes. And that's what Mars retrograde is telling us that, but there's also confusion there. So expect it, don't let it get the best of you. Just expect it.
That's right. And I think it is a great time in the revolution with all the changes we have going on, for us to take another little time out and identify that we're not in control. This isn't all about ego, 100% of the time. You have to find that balance, and it is very humbling. And I think it's helping people to, not everybody, of course, will choose this route, but to come together and collaborate. So it's just very interesting. Not easy, but full of potential. All right. Well, thank you so much for going through all those. Breaking them down helps a ton. All right. We are going to take questions and comments. What do we have? All right. Me Love 716 says, does your astrology reading refer to our sun, moon, and rising, not just our sun?
Yes. I think that you probably primarily feel the rising sign first, then the sun sign, then the moon sign. That's typically how it is. I mean, some weeks are different. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I feel the sun more, but typically it's the rising that you feel the most.
Okay, great. What's the next question? Miranda Reed says, I have been having dreams of things collapsing. One dream was a water tower falling over. Is there something or someone trying to tell me something? Well, dream symbology is my thing. Symbology is my thing in general. Water is one of the first symbols I teach my students, and that is cleansing. So I'm not at all surprised that you saw things collapsing, and it's happening through a process of cleansing. And that's quite literally what we've been talking about here all night. It's happening in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, I think that especially with Scorpio, purging, you know what I mean? Like getting rid of the toxicity and stuff. Like, yeah, like knocking down those walls. There's something there for sure.
And that you said was the lunar eclipse in Scorpio that started October 11th, right? So that may have triggered a lot of that. Very interesting. All right. Miranda Reed also says, never mind. We're still on that one. I thought I saw it disappear. This is like not just tech. I can't just say that. This is also my brain stalling out lately.
Yeah.
It's just the tired. It's just the sort of like,
oh yeah, well, welcome to my life, because this is my life. I live with this I have this aspect exact in my chart.
She does talk about that a lot. I don't think I ever fully had sympathy.
Yeah, the struggle is real.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You poor thing. Juicing. Shauna Flint says, dreams have been weird for a long time. Last night, I saw my soon-to-be ex tossing money around, showing off his girlfriend, acting like I'm not there, but is hiding things in real life. Well, I definitely think, like earlier when I asked Christina, is this karmic? And I noticed that one of the only areas where you said there's big karmic play out is with Gemini. Well, Shauna just posted a minute ago. She's got Gemini in 3 or 4 houses. So maybe this is sort of karmic, Shauna. That sounds similar to the weird dreams I've been having every night. People trying to like pay me out, or things being exposed, or like karma that's unresolved, not necessarily from my end, but with them owing some kind of debt back. I wonder if this is also going to be sort of karma playing out by secrets being revealed, for you. All of that's valuable.
And Aries too, with the karma, and Cancer, like Mars. This kind of explains why you're tired though, because Mars being in like Cancer's at Mars in the 12th, and the 12th is sleeping, extreme space. So that, and who else had 12th house? I think that was it for 12th house, but 12th house does tend to be karmic. So I don't know. I don't remember what Shauna is. I can't remember.
Well, she just posted a minute ago. I saw it. She's got a few Geminis too. So really interesting. I love in astrology. I mean, I fall down a rabbit hole daily, but I love how we can pair up and see the similarities in the way we experience different planetary movements. What were you saying, Christina?
So she did have Cancer in there, so that makes sense then. Yeah, like, and I used to have those dreams too, Shauna. Like I would dream that I would dream of my ex with his new person, and I don't know. There was some kind of karmic weird stuff going on there. I do remember though. They do stop eventually, those dreams.
Amen. Hallelujah. All right. Everything is transitional. We do these shows, classes, church services, everything we do, especially when we bring in the astrology, is to remind everyone that we can choose a high vibration over a low vibration. We can and are expected to by the universe to be mindful, to use every opportunity, even if it's uncomfortable, for growth and development. And that especially with the planetary movements, everything is temporary. Everything moves. Everything shifts. Thank God for that,
because that's why people always said, like, this is just a trial, or, like everything's a phase. But yeah, everything has everything has an ending. Put it that way.
That's the end of the, everything's a phase. All right.
Everything's a phase.
Thank God it is, right? So, and then we'll have a break and then we'll be on to the next phase. But
Exactly.
I find this one particularly odd. And I just think it's, you know, something worth studying for, you know, farther. If you can look more into your chart, you can book a reading with Christina anytime. This is up here on the screen on YouTube, where you can go to cpekierski88@gmail.com. I know that on Instagram, she's Astrology Chick 2. Is that right? Okay. And if,
I think so.
yeah, Astrology Chick 2. I'm positive. I tag her like
Okay.
daily. So I stalk you on there. But also, if you guys want to book a reading with me, you can go to Ivy Rivera, psychicmedium.com, and we'll see you guys soon. I know we have some church services. Oh, thank you, Maraid, our beautiful producer. She's so sharp. Okay, Roots Revival. Our next church service is next Sunday. It's going to be November 13th, and we are now in fall time. So we're doing those at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys then. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.